Good day. I had planned on trying to get this posted earlier, but I had some meetings that came up for the middle of the afternoon and after later afternoon. We're going to be discussing the research paper that does count as your final exam. It's your last work to be completed for this course. To find the details, which hopefully you've already been looking at, go to the modules, clicking on that, and then scroll to the bottom and you will see the research paper. I do have an example research paper for you. The link that had been up there earlier was faulty, so I have just uploaded the research paper directly, so you'll be able to see that now. And then, of course, the details for the research paper are here. And then you'll see also underneath that what's called the LEAPS assignment, and I'll talk about that in a moment as well. For the research paper, you simply click here, and that will then open the assignment. And this is the assignment that you will see. The details of this one are broken down into two sections. The first section being a detailed biography of whichever author you select from the list below. This is going to be where you're going to look at the author, not so much just tell us where the individual was born, lived, died, but you're going to give details about the individual's life, the writer's life, as they pertain to the writer's career. What in that individual's life helped to influence what he or she wrote. And so you're going to be looking at those details in particular. The second part, so the second half of the essay, and please do not put a heading of part 1, part 2. We don't need anything like that. Just write one continuous essay. The second part, though, is where you're going to be looking at critical articles, where you're going to try to look at those and discuss whether that assessment, the details in that critical article, actually pertain. And with that, you'll then have to look at the author's work and argue for or against the article. And so, as it says here, if you disagree with Dennis Eddings' comments over the Raven, you'll bring in the parts to support it. So, approximately 2,000 words. So, 1,000 for the critical biography, and then 1,000 where you are analyzing and work in connection to a critical article. The critical articles are listed here for you, and I have several different ones. The links are supposed to be working. They were earlier in the semester. I'm going to be checking, and if anything's wrong with any of these, I will try to correct these different links shortly. But again, part of the problem that we had is that occasionally the library's resources are changed. Sometimes in the middle of a semester, one of the resources will change the URL that they're using because they'll update their site, and when they update the site, the URLs all alter. So I'll be checking those. But what you do have here are details for you. And Bradstreet, I have some biography links and also critical articles. Philip Freneau, again, same that I have there. Philip Wheatley, Washington Irving. You'll notice that these are some of the authors that you've already covered, where you've either done study questions over those writers, or you have had test questions, details along those lines. So I try to use the same ones. James Fenimore Cooper is one we really didn't get to cover greatly, but one that you might find useful. Ralph Waldo Emerson, you were just recently doing some work in regard to his works. Nathaniel Hawthorne, Longfellow, Poe, and please note it's Allan. He really didn't like to go by Allen. He signed himself Edgar A. Poe. He had been brought into the Allen family as a foster child. The Allens never adopted him, and he and Mr. Allen had a very contentious relationship. So, although he was posted as Edgar Allan Poe, he never himself really liked the Allen. But please, when you use it, spell it correctly. Walt Whitman, one of the latter writers that you were asked to look at. Herman Melville had some work regarding about some of the questions recently about Bartleby the Scrivener. Emily Dickinson, you didn't have any questions over her, but you have some readings over her. Now these links, and hopefully these are all working, you just simply have to go here and you can either right click and open in new tab, and me do it in a new window. We'll do it that way. Yeah, we'll open a new window. Work better. And there's the article. So you really can just go to the articles this way. As I said, I'll be going back to check the links and updating those if I need to. But in this particular article, this is a critical article. What you have are some details about her writing, as it says here, comic elements in Dickinson's verse. You may not recognize that she does have a very lively sense of humor, and many of her poems that we typically think of associated with Emily Dickinson are sort of the darker ones. But there are also a number of her poems, of the over 1,700 that she wrote, that have a very, very fanciful attitude and a lightheartedness, and again also a very, very tongue-in-cheek, quirky attitude at times as she looks at those. And so this is an article that you would read by Paul Anderson. You would read this article. It is lengthy. It's about 4,000 words. And then you would look at the central points that Anderson has made, and you would decide if you agree with him or disagree with him. In this particular article, he does mention a number of different poems, such as Tell the Truth, but Tell It Slant. Again, she does not entitle her poems. Most of the poems are known by either numbers, which were set up by T.H. Johnson's numbering, as it says here. So this is number 1129. Or you'll see it simply listed by the first line, Tell the Truth. Same thing with the following poem, where you have this idea of the morns are meeker, and you have some details. So you get to look at the different works here and decide if his comments are accurate. If you disagree, if you agree with him, then go into detail and explain why and what you see within the poem. If you disagree, explain why you disagree and how that particular work does not represent the key points he's talking about. One of the nice aspects about using the library resources, and all the sources that I've posted for you do come from the library resources that are available online, you have the citation tool. And all you have to do for that is to click here. There it is. You copy it, as I'm doing now. Then I'm going to open up a Word document. Bear with us, it takes a little while sometimes. And then I paste it. And then what I can do here to make sure I get to the proper format, I go up here to where it says paragraph, click that little arrow, go to special, change it to hanging. We want double spaced. And then you hit OK, and there's your citation done properly. It's one of the nice aspects. They already have all the information that you need. You do not have to worry about what do I type, what information I need. It's all there for you. And then through the Word programming, you have through this little part called paragraph, that little arrow that you will see, you just simply click on it, open it, look for the special, change it to hanging, go down to double, and you are good. And that's how it will look. And so you have your citation for the article. Any other information you use from other sources, you can do the same way. You copy the citation, put it into the Word document, mark it as I did earlier, just like that. And then go to this, and again, put to hanging, put to double, and then hit OK, and you're going to be good. So it's really very easy to do the citations for your Works Cited page. I would have to come up here and hit enter, and then go back up and type in Works Cited. And there, that's how your Works Cited page will start to look. Anderson A, so when you have something else that you may have used, and we'll go back to this. Let me close this out here. Close that one out and go back to the article. Let's go up here to one of these. I'm going to go to this one. Have to log in. This may, I went to that one because I knew I probably was going to have to log in. if it asks you to log in, it's simply the same login that you use for getting into Canvas or for your email. So you click log in, and then there you go. Here's the critical article. That is a critical biography. You'll see that's why it says document type is biography critical essay. It is a very lengthy one. It's 16,000 words. So you can probably find quite a bit of information if you need to about her life, and as says here, the poet at work aspect, the idea about what influenced her, the details about her life, editions of her poetry, how they were received critically, what was thought about them. You'll also see this one talks about some other areas, and so it's very quite lengthy. But again, here's the citation tool. I just have to copy it, go to my works cited page I've already set up, and then I can go into keep page formatting since I've already had it formatted, so that it will do the hanging indent. It does it automatically for us. We'll make sure we have all the same font style, so change it all to Calibri 11, and there we have everything in the same font style. Now if I had not done, again, I'll show you what I did here again. When I copied it in, I right clicked to paste, I could have done keep source formatting or merge formatting, so it actually fits with what was already formatted on this page. If I had done it this way, it would have changed it again also, but there's how you have your hanging indentation. And it's in alphabetical order, and so we have those details there. Again, very useful to use our library resources, and hopefully all the articles, the links to these articles I have for you are available. They're supposed to be, as I said, I checked this several weeks ago. I have not gone back in recently to look at it because I just really hadn't thought about it. They were fine earlier, but sometimes in the middle of the semester, the updates take place, and if that's the case, I may have to update some of the links for you. But this gives you an idea of some of these articles. And again, let me go back to our page. So I have the articles for you already that you can look at. And so underneath this assignment, you have the details, what you're asked to do. I have the articles for you. You just have to click on those and read through them and form your paper. Again, the first part is going to be a commentary on the life of the author, especially in regard to what influenced this particular writer. And then the second part of the essay will be where you're going to read and assess what a critic has written and discuss whether that critic's assessment is valid. And then you'll look particularly at key works. So as it says here, you get to support will be provided by discussing the writer's own work for the evidence. For instance, as I said, Eddings' comments over the Raven, over Poe. You'll bring in some of the poem to support your reasoning. So you're going to support Eddings or disagree with him, and then you'll look closely at the poem if you're doing that particular one. In the case of the one I just showed you about Dickinson, what you'll be looking at in particular will be about her poetry, the details there, and whether humor can be recognized as Anderson was proposing. So that's the research paper itself. Again, approximately 2,000 words, broken down into two parts. So it's really not anything tremendously challenging per se, I would think. This part, the second part, the discussion of one of the critical articles, and in context of the work by a particular writer, that will be the part that you'll get to do your critical analysis, the main part of what you've been writing most of the semester. This part, the biography, will be some life moments, but it will also involve some of those details in a particular writer's life that help to shape or influence who that writer was and why the writer wrote as he or she did. Again, just to show you the one about Eddings, for instance. Let me go down here to Poe. Well, let's go to the one about his life first. Let's go to this one. And it says this one also has critical material to it. And of course, it did not want to open. So let's see if we can get that. New window. Excuse me, I have to do a new window. And this is one of the ones seemingly is not working now. Let me see if I can get that to work. It's not working. It was working earlier. I'll have to look at it again. I said some of these may have changed, and this one may have altered. This is part of Gale, and they sometimes do update. I'll find everything, make sure it's part of it. In fact, I can see the problem. The Gale group has gone to a go.gale group, and that one says link.gale. So I'll have to see what we can do about that one. So let me look at this one, and I can't remember if this is the Edding one or not. Nope, that's not working either. I'll have to look see what's going on. The Poe articles were working earlier. Well, I'll see what I can do about trying to get these to work. Okay. Well, we just got into one with Emily Dickinson, and that was, we just got into two of those, didn't we? So I'll have to see what's going on. Sometimes the links just aren't working, but I'll make sure these are all fixed for you. That's what I'll spend tomorrow afternoon doing, getting all those fixed, make sure that they work. But to give you an idea of how that Eddings article is, I have a sample research paper for you. There it is. The earlier link had deteriorated for it too, so I just simply put the entire paper up here. You notice this is talking about Edgar Allan Poe. This is not a perfect essay. For instance, write out 19th, do not use numbers. Here the number is fine because you're talking about age, but for this it should be spelled out with the word 19. You'll see that it is using some critical information from Burt and then from Sova. The period here from Levine, that's our textbook, and the period here after families right before Sova, those are unnecessary. You only, for MLA citation, of course, after you put the parenthetical, you put the period here. You do not need the period there. And so you just go through and talks about his life, talk about details, talk about some of the issues he had, about some of his views, and as it says here, his literary career became a focus, publishing works, his health situation, how that influenced him, impacted him, and then about Rufus Griswold, who basically was the one who, he became the authorized biographer for Poe because he convinced Poe's mother-in-law and his sister to give him the credentials. Griswold did basically a hatchet job on Poe because he had an axe to grind, to use that especially, since he attempted to ruin Poe's reputation. Now you'll notice here the critics often try to minimize the impact that Poe had had. One piece that he's often criticized for is The Raven. And so here it is talking about in theme and parody in The Raven, Eddings argues that the inconsistencies in the poem are reflective of the narrator's lapses of judgment. Because of Poe's expertise with handling the subject of insanity and his time spent, I believe Eddings is valid in his argument. So then it looks at what does Eddings say? What does he point out? What are the key details? And then it looks at further support of that can be found in other works, such as Poe's stories on the issue, and brings in details here, such as from the Black Cat here, and brings in some other details. He again brings out some of the key points that Eddings makes, and then goes on to discuss those as well. And then here you'll see the works cited page. The details are used. This article, this is one from Burt. There's the article by Eddings. and then Kennedy's comments and Levine, our textbook, and then SOVA. And so you can see those are the sources that were used in writing this particular essay. So you can look through this essay and sort of see how it was structured, what you need to do, and how you can approach it. It's very similar to what you're asked to do as well. It's based on the same topics. And so you can look at it in that way and go through and find the details that you need. One other aspect about the research paper that you're asked to do is, it closer, you'll see what is called the LEAPS assignment. The LEAPS assignment is simply an uploading of the research paper for a second time. All it does is serve as research data for the college. We're asked to collect data, and the research paper is what you would do. To give you an idea of how that will look, and I'm going to go to the student view here. Bear with us as it changes to student view. Collapsing all here. When I go to the research paper and open it, you'll see the same three things that we were just looking at. When you click on this one, so after you finish your research paper and you upload it, and again, uploading the research paper is the way you've done every other essay and other work. You simply go to the bottom here. There's your load research paper in new window. You click on that bar and it takes you to turn it in. For the LEAPS, when you click on it, this is what shows up. It shows you a rubric, and this is simply the only part that I fill out. You click on the Start Assignment button, this nice red button. It'll ask you to upload a file, and right here, you click on Upload a File. You'll find your research paper on your computer, one that you will have already loaded to turn it in. Click on that, and then hit Submit, and it goes in. Again, this does not count as a grade. It is simply for research data purposes. But since you're going to have to go to the trouble of uploading it a second time, although it does not count as graded, I am going to offer you a 5-point bonus on your final grade of your research paper. So I'll score your research paper, and then after you have uploaded this, which I would upload your research paper to turn it in, and then as you finish that, go back and upload as the LEAPS assignment. And so I will go through and I will, after I've graded your research paper, all I do is go back and I click these little points on the rubric that you see here. Did you meet expectations? Making a 70 or better. Did you meet expectations? Did you meet expectations? Did you, it's just little details like that. And so that's what I will be doing. And so again, very simple aspect for the rubric. Nothing major. It does not impact your grade. Wherever I click doesn't impact your grade at all. But I will be able to go in and then give you 5-point extra 5 points on your research paper grade. And so I'm asking you to do that. So I'm going to leave the student view. Yes, leave the student view. And you'll see this is how mine looks. So when you go to your modules, as I clicked here, go to the research paper module. This is where you're going to click to read the details about the research paper. It's also where you will go to upload your research paper. The assignment can be downloaded. You'll see that, of course, as we've done with the previous assignments. Then you scroll down. There's Load Research Paper in New Window. You click that. It takes you to turn it in, and you simply follow the directions of uploading the essay into turn it in as you've done with the other work. If you have any questions, of course, you can let me know. I will be going through and trying to check all these links. As I said, at the beginning of the semester, when this was posted, the links were working, but I'll have to go through and make sure, see what's happened to those that are not. Some obviously still are working, but some clearly are not. So I'll try to get that taken care of. I'll work on it some tonight and get everything taken care of by tomorrow. So hopefully this has helped you some. I'll get this posted here momentarily, and I will have this, I'll send a notice for you to let you know about the research paper itself. And again, if you have questions, you're free to contact me, and we'll try to get everything taken care of. And as we're finishing out this last week or so, we have about 10 days left till this is through. You have till the 10th, because I'll need time to grade the research paper before I can make sure I get final grades posted, and plans to get all the grades taken care of by Monday the 13th. So you'll be able to go in on Monday to check, see what your final average is. Again, looking forward to reading your research papers. I'll try to get all these links corrected, and I apologize if they're not working. As I said, they were earlier. I'll just have to fix. As it says here, I even updated the links, and that was at the beginning of the semester. So I'll have to go back through and fix them again. All right, well, you have a good evening, and I will get this posted as quickly as I can.